Yesterday in Kharkiv, a home improvement store Epicenter, it is like home depot, it was hit by at least 2 glide bombs. Russian propagandists will claim it is a military target, that there were warehouses with Abrams tanks and that a NATO command meeting was being held there. Every time the Russian occupiers strike civilian targets, they justify it by claiming they were supposedly warehouses with equipment, ammunition, and so on. This was the case with Nova Poshta in Odesa, and now with Kharkiv's Epicenter home improvement store. It is always the same. They have one excuse: the strike on a civilian object with many civilians inside on a weekend was not because we Russians are bloodthirsty maniacs craving the death and suffering of the Ukrainian people, but because the Ukrainians were storing ammunition there. But this scum, they never explain why firefighters immediately arrive at these sites and start putting out the fire, including inside the building. This is something no Russian bloodthirsty propagandist justifying war crimes will ever answer. Why aren't Ukrainian firefighters afraid of the detonations of tens of thousands pieces of munitions? Why isn't armored special equipment used to extinguish fires, as is the case with ammunition depots? Why are journalists allowed to places where, according to Russian propagandists, 155mm Excaliburs and ATACMS should be exploding and Abrams tanks should be blazing? Where are there hour-long sounds of detonating munitions, of secondary detonations? Why are they not heard around the clock, and why aren't ammunition fragments scattered over many kilometers? Any argument by Russian propaganda scum that an ammunition depot was hit is completely destroyed by just one fact: the bravery of Ukrainian firefighters at the very epicenter of the crime scene committed by Russian maniacs. And that's why Ukraine should be granted the right to strike Russian military targets on Russian territory with Western weapons to prevent such bloody acts of terror. Let me spell out to you the necessity of striking Russian military targets on Russian territory with Western weapons, and we take ATACMS as an example. It has a range from 160 to 300 kilometers, and the range depends directly on the modification of the warhead, but all modifications are extremely effective, as already witnessed by Jankoy, Alushta, Belbek, and other Russian military targets. Within the ATACMS strike radius from Kharkiv alone, there are a dozen airfields actively used by the Russian airspace forces, VKS RF. One of them is an airfield in Voronezh called Baltimore, but there are others like Tamarovka, Halina, Stary Oskol, Millerova, and many others. Expanding this range with location beyond Kharkiv, Ukraine would have the opportunity to push all Russian tactical and strategic aviation 300 kilometers away from our borders, significantly reducing the VKS ability to strike Ukrainian territory with CABs, with guided glide bombs, destroying Russian tactical aviation, particularly the Su-34s, the main carriers of CABs, these glide bombs, as well as their bases, would help avoid many casualties, not only on the front lines, but also in the rear areas of Ukraine, like, for example, this civilian target, this Epicenter home improvement store. Bloody crimes and genocide, it can be stopped not by expressing concern, but only by force, by adequate, precise, powerful force. For Ukraine's survival, a green light is needed to use Western weapons on Russian territory. So, President Biden, please give us the green light.